I'm just going to leave it to Siskel and Ebert to tell you why Joker fails, both as a movie about mental illness and as an origin story.
Hello, and welcome to Siskel and Ebert at the Movies. You may have heard that the atrocious musical Joker Part 2 was a box office bomb that was hated by critics and fans. But this begs the question, was the original Joker, which won actor Joaquin Phoenix an Oscar, actually overrated? Tonight we're going to take a look back at the film and ask that question.
Hey, Joker. I just talked to the pharmacy, and they said you were a naughty boy and didn't fill out the paperwork to renew your medical insurance, so your prescriptions for antipsychotics Zyprexa and clozapine were canceled. Plus, bad news on the mood stabilization front. Lab results showed you have lithium toxicity. So the doctor said you would need to pause that medication and report any symptoms of side effects right away.
That's why my schizoaffective disorder has got me chewing on park benches. I had too much mental disorganization to complete that paperwork because I live in a circus tent at a homeless encampment and I'm addicted to meth. If I don't get my antipsychotic medications, I will become paranoid that the Justice League are out to get me. And I will hear command auditory hallucinations telling me to commit acts that are dangerous to others, like using a shocker when I shake hands, or connect the dynamic duo to the electric chair. Ha ha ha! Yes, I missed my meds this morning, and already I am having grandiose delusions that I can beat Batman in a surfing competition. Bwah ha ha! I'm the best surfer in the world, Bat Brain.
Joker, I have a history of childhood trauma, and when I'm manic, I let out a flight of ideas with my pressured speech about abuse, violence, and persecutory delusions, and I will just blab and blab and blab. I just won't stop. Also, I have borderline personality disorder, and so I'm going to blame you for all my problems and start screaming when I don't get my way. Ah! You better call the cops, because someone needs to put me on a psychiatric hold.
Oops. Looks like that was a clip from the old Batman TV show. The difference is, the writers of that episode actually knew something about mental health conditions and medications. A lot of reviews of the Joker say this has something meaningful to say about mental health, but it doesn't at all. The writers don't care about his diagnosis or the nature of his psychosis. Is he supposed to be bipolar or schizophrenic? Does he have a personality disorder? What are his meds? Does he hallucinate or have delusions? I think this may come from how the source material doesn't understand mental illness either. Most of the Batman villains are supposed to be criminally insane and end up at Arkham Asylum after Batman busts them. But none of them are actually mentally ill. I mean, why is a guy who has a crime gimmick for making riddles insane? Two-Face doesn't have multiple personalities. He just likes to flip coins. The writers of this movie don't know the difference between a psychotic who belongs behind bars and someone with psychosis who needs psychiatric help. So instead of this movie taking a realistic delve into the schizoaffective spectrum, we get a typical crazy movie person with odd mannerisms and a weird laugh. This movie has nothing interesting or new to say about mental health. That's why I'm giving the pretentious Joker a thumbs down.
You're so right about that, but also it fails in a different way. This movie is supposed to be an origin story movie. A superhero origin story is the modern version of the classic rags to riches story, where an unsure of themselves young protagonist, living in lowly circumstances, has something miraculous happen to them, forcing them out into the world to go on a life-changing adventure that transforms them into who they were always destined to become. This is one of the oldest stories in the world, from Aladdin and his magical lamp, where an impoverished pickpocket encounters a magical genie that takes him on an adventure that leads him to raising his station by marrying a princess. or My Fair Lady, where a Cockney working-class girl is transformed into a member of the aristocracy. In these fairy tales, after they have completed their transformation, they become fully actualized as characters. This movie attempts to tell a rags-to-riches story, but fails because it does not understand what a fully actualized Joker is, which is a crime genius and an anarchist who finds existential meaning in his conflict with the Batman. But what happens in the movie is we start with a frightened oddball who has some bad luck and becomes bullied a bit. Then he kills some people, and now he is a murderous oddball. Instead of an existential battle with Batman, he shoots a talk show host. And that's it. That's the whole change. He hasn't become actualized as anything. He isn't a master criminal, and he doesn't fight Batman. And the filmmakers want us to think this is deep somehow? Please, this is masturbation. The only thing this was successful at was getting Joaquin Phoenix an Oscar. The Joker is the only character where you can get away with something like this. Like William Dafoe is an even greater actor, and he goes through an origin story in the first Spider-Man movie, where he has a descent into madness, has auditory hallucinations, and suffers from dissociative identity disorder, and then through a scientific formula, and his tech innovations becomes fully actualized as Spider-Man's arch nemesis. And this is done economically in a condensed subplot to Spider-Man's origin story. And then what happens? He fights Spider-Man because no one would want to see a Green Goblin origin story where he doesn't battle Spider-Man at the end. So this failure as an origin story makes it a big thumbs down for me.
We both gave Joker 2 thumbs down. Way down. Stay away from this shitty, boring-ass fucking movie.
So you're saying all those critics who gave Joker a good review are a bunch of pretentious fart sniffers?
Yes, Joker is a shit movie, and I'm tired of pretending that it's not.
Thank you, darling, so much for watching. And since you're such sweet little kittens, it would be perfect if you could like, subscribe to this channel, and check out sloppymemes.com.